Hi everyone online. Hi everyone here. I'm Belinda. This is Gitanjali here.
Hi, and Jude's missing
Yeah,
today.
Jude sends her apologies. I just thought we'd talk very briefly about the things that we were talking about when we had a chat over the phone and just now before we came. We're all from different institutions and have got very different, levels of EFS throughout our institutions and different networks and things that are happening at our institutions. But we thought that was a really good way to talk about what are some of the commonalities and differences that we can use to leverage in a network talking about professional development. So we talked a lot about what was going on in our own institutions. We also talked about a bit about my research, which Colin just mentioned. Some of my previous research looked at a national study looking at what academics across every university in every discipline of Australia thought what sustainability is and how they teach it. And out of that came some really distinct ideas around what we should be doing around professional development. Those couple of distinct ideas were that we really do, in addition to interdisciplinary professional development, we need very discipline-specific professional development. We need to meet academics where they are. And where they are is they're stuck in their disciplines. And some disciplines we thought that perhaps you might automatically think, oh yeah, they're all into the sustainability stuff, and they're actually not. And the ones that we think they're not, they actually are. So it's quite opposite in some cases of what we often think. So that got us thinking about looking at interdisciplinary professional development, looking at discipline-specific professional development, looking at formal and informal professional development. And what else? Was there anything else we talked about?
We were also looking at the different sectors, so vocational education as well as education.
Yeah, so not just higher ed, vocational as well, and what the differences between those are, and whether or not we can discuss PD as a whole or whether we need to break it apart into different areas.
Maybe I'll just add a couple of words to what Belinda said. We thought given this group seems to have attracted the most interest, we thought we'd probably start with what are people's needs in the network, because obviously we're dealing with the whole spectrum, and as Belinda said, some are focusing on discipline specific and others are looking at interdisciplinary professional development. There's also a whole plethora of professional development resources out there, and particularly, Colin alluded to some of the good stuff earlier. So we thought maybe, depending on the needs of the group, we would identify what exists already and just put those resources in a common place. It might be the blog spot you're talking about, Colin, or elsewhere, or learning and teaching sustainability website. But maybe if that's of interest to the group, look at what resources are available, obviously ask the group here and see what we can actually put into the public domain, the space for everyone to share, and then work out, well, what are the gaps and, what are our needs, and go from there. A lot of my background in the last few years has been in the vocational education sector, and I can certainly attest to some excellent resources existing that are industry specific amongst our educators across Australia, and I know many of those would be made available. And I'm not certain necessarily within the network here what demand there is for that. So I wondered if we could perhaps start with finding out, well, what do people need, those people who've expressed interest in professional development, and then go from there and respond in terms of what Belinda's mentioned earlier. Yeah. Is that sufficient, Colin?
Yeah, I think that's about all we talked about. Great.
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for your quick sort of startup conversations around networks and hubs, etc. That's what I was hoping would happen. All of this experience and expertise would sort of blossom out. One of the things